Uh, it's a beautiful day. Thought I would get on here and do a quick talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and that is habits. So, okay, I've had this premise recently that life, in general, life is a habit. There's studies and evidence that supports the fact that like 50% of or 50% or more of our life is habitual, our decisions and what we do every day. So, spinning off on that premise, basically, if we recognize that most of what we do is habitual, we can then recognize that whatever is going wrong with our life is because of a habit, and whatever is going good with our life is also a habit. So, knowing that, we can start to change the habits, right? We can actually start adjusting. And one of the key aspects of a habit is the frequency that we do the thing, whatever it is. Like if you get up in the morning and you do yoga every day, the frequency of that, how often you do that, is what makes the habit stronger or weaker. So the more times you do it, the more likely you are going to do it. The less times you do it, the less likely you are going to do it in the future. So if you listen to AC/DC every day, well, the more you do that, the more you're likely to continue to do that. If you listen to, opera every day, the more you do it, the more likely you're going to be doing it in the future. So you get the drift. So going further, if you were to look at your level of happiness, if you're not happy, you're basically not doing things that make you happy. You're doing more or spending more time doing the things that make you unhappy. Not just time, but also mental time, where you're thinking about things that are making you unhappy. So the hack, so to speak, to make you happier is to start, and that is the shift, is that one choice that you make to do something different is probably the hardest part of habit change, because just by making that act of doing something different is stepping outside of our routine, stepping outside of our habits, and it's the uncertainty of it that makes us not want to do it. There's some fear involved in change, but it's the idea that when we take that one step, that first step towards a new habit, that sets the ball in motion for doing it again. And because your mind is kind of using endorphins to actually make you want to do something again. So once you get the endorphin hit release of, hey, that felt good, then more likely you're going to do it again. But if you don't give yourself that opportunity to feel that, then it's less likely for you to do it again, because you didn't do it the first time. So the key is it having the courage to actually try something new and do it, and just do it. The second part is, of course, repetition. All habits were formed by repetition. You can't kick a soccer ball one day and say, I'm a soccer player, because you only did it one time. You just kicked the ball. You know, you got to keep doing it, you know, day in and day out for it to become a routine, a thing. It's like any skill, same idea. Like, or you know, playing the piano. You know, you don't just, you're not a pianist by hitting one key. You know, you need to hit the key every day for an hour or more or whatever before you become good enough to say, I'm a pianist. You know, so anyway, so if we want to go a step further to healing or wellness, let's say it is a yoga routine every day. You can start with an affirmation like, I am well, right? Or I am fit, I am flexible, and that kind of digs into your subconscious, the I am word. It's like you're acting as if you already are that. So you could say, I am a yogi. You know, you can go further and say, I do yoga for, real specific, like for a half an hour every morning before 10 a.m. whatever it might be. And so if you regularly repeat this affirmation, whether that be a post-it note, and repeating alarm on your phone, whatever, if you regularly repeat this affirmation, you're going to embody what that feels like. You're going to think about what it feels like to do that every day, and how good it feels. That's just going to come along with the affirmation, essentially, is how good it feels. You can even say, I feel great. I feel great after doing yoga every day, you know, before 10 or whatever you want to say. But you get it on loop. You get it, again, repetition is key here. You find a method, whether it be post-it notes everywhere, or it could be post-it notes everywhere, it could be something on your phone, whatever. Could be, find your method, find your way. You know, it could be something on your dashboard, a note on your dashboard in your car. Wherever you spend the most time is the best place for a note that's going to change your way of being. So basically it starts with, it could be a note that says, everything is, or I don't know, something like, everything I do is good. I don't know. It could be anything really. And just general statements. Like, it's beautiful today. Even if it's, you know, cloudy and muggy. And then you can move on to the I am statements I was talking about before. And then you can move on to the I do. I do this. I do that. So that way you're essentially programming your way of being to be a different way, which is really, really cool. That's where the change really starts to happen. Is where you do something different every day. So, but if you see that note that says, I wake up every day and walk, you know, at least, you know, a mile and a half before noon, whatever it might be for you. The more you see that message, the more you're going to embody that act, and wonder why you're not doing it if you're not doing it. But also you're going to remember it, because you'll no longer need the note to remind you that that's something that you do, because it gets into your subconscious of, this is what I do, this is who I am. And that's all about repetition. The more times we get that program into our head, the deeper into your subconscious that message gets. And that's where the change starts to happen. It's pretty amazing once you see that most of life is a habit, and that in order to change, all we really need to do is change our habits. And you want to change a bad habit, basically the same idea. It's, part of a bad habit is time spent doing the bad habit, right? So if we replace the time spent doing the bad habit with time spent doing other things, that's the change factor. Once you change, you can then keep doing that. And once you do that, that time gets put over the time that you would have spent doing something, that you'd consider a bad habit, binge eating or whatever it might be for you. There is, for every habit, there is a trigger, a routine, and a reward. So the trigger might be the same for, let's say, a bad habit, but it's putting a different routine in place of that trigger. So let's say you sit down to watch TV at night, and that's the trigger, and then you would normally grab a bag of chips. That's the routine, and then the reward is, oh, I feel good. I feel satiated. Oh gosh, those chips tasted so good, whatever. And so the reward, that's important, but it's really about changing the routine. So it could be the affirmation: every time I sit down to watch TV at night, I grab an avocado from the fridge and I season it up. So it's same time that you would have spent binging on chips, but instead you're eating something healthy, an avocado that does so much more for you than chips, let's say, right? So, and the reward is, I'm doing something good for my body, now. And so there's a good reward there. So that's the typical method for habit change is the cue, the routine, the reward. But there are some authors, a more recent one from Atomic Habits, great book. He says cue, craving leads to a routine, and then there's a reward. So that's kind of like one step further. So the cue leads to a craving for something, like the salty chips or whatever. You can also salt avocado, by the way, really good thing. Sea salt, great stuff. So so it's similar, craving. The routine is a little different, and then the reward is I feel good because I'm doing something good for my body. Anyway, great stuff. Highly recommend the Atomic Habits book. You'll learn more about what I'm talking about. But it focuses a lot on the idea of repetition. There was another book called The Power of Habits, I believe, by Charles Duhigg. Could be wrong on the author's name. Sounds right. That was the original book about habits, but it didn't, from what I remember, it didn't focus as much about repetition, that side of things. It was just talking about the cue, the reward, or the cue, the routine, and the reward as a way to change. So just thought I'd do that, get this out into the world, and let you know that I'm here for you. If you want help with anything in regards to this, especially setting up those affirmations and those reminders like throughout the day regularly to embody them and to embody the change, I can help you certainly with that. With Android or iPhone, I am able to help you come up with those affirmations and then also configure them on your phone so that they happen throughout your day. The more often, the better. It's powerful. It's kind of, I think of it akin to like that. If anybody saw The Matrix, where he plugs into the cable in the back of his head and he uploads a program to how to fly a helicopter or whatever. I don't know, how to dodge bullets. Same general principle. You just don't need the cable or the attachment. Yeah, that's kind of messy back there. Anyway, hope this finds you guys all well, and until the next one, bye for now. Love you all.